So I'm here with Mike Calvin and Bruce Powell from FastNet Wireless here in Franklin, Kentucky. And Mike and Bruce, tell me a little bit about your business, and then we'll go out and do some testing here in southern Kentucky, right on the Kentucky-Tennessee line, right?
Yeah, we're looking for ways that we can get people in the outer reaches of the county that's out of our service area. We've had a lot of people that we just can't get to, and we're just looking for a solution for that.
We're actually a small wireless provider. We started out in Simpson County. Initially, it was a means to serve our own business. We had a two-way radio company that was needing internet to do business correspondence, emails, quotes. The only thing available to us was satellite internet. By 10 o'clock that day, everybody was throttled back for the rest of the day, and it became a rush in the morning to get your work done. So we had this idea that we'll get a T1 line out at our tower. We owned a 400-foot tower out in the county with our two-way radio business. And we thought, well, it'd be a good idea. Maybe we can get a couple people to help split the cost of this. So we put a couple antennas on the tower, told a few people. You know, within a couple of days, we were getting people from across the county calling saying, hey, when's it going to be available in our area? Well, we looked at expanding that. So you fast forward 6 years, we're now in 10 counties in Kentucky and 2 in Tennessee with our service. We're deploying multiple technologies. Speeds are continually increasing. But there's been a real hole in our network where there's a near line of sight, or we get near a city where there's a lot of noise floor with conventional home routers and other products that we didn't have a solution for, and we've turned down a lot of customers like that. That's why we started looking at LTE as a way to bridge the gap and get us competing with the bigger guys and not only being in a rural area. We own a 400-foot tower in the southeast corner of the county here. We just finished up at about 11 o'clock Friday night installing fiber and the equipment up at about 370 feet on that tower. We put up 2 sectors, and we actually, just because of the holiday weekend, started doing our testing yesterday morning.
Okay.
I ran by about 6 different locations where there's existing customers on other technologies and did a side-by-side comparison. And our goal is initially take it to existing customers and say, this is, you've had issues with speed or quality, what can this product line do for you? And then from there, what we want to do is go to the leads that were turned down, say not in coverage area, and try to see if this new technology will allow us to take existing people wanting our service and continue to expand.
So
the base station I was really impressed with. I come from a cellular background, did a lot of TMAs and base stations for cellular repeaters, as well as in-building cellular. And the construction, very solid, good connectors for both power and data, solid feel. I don't think we'll have any issues with water migration. It was great termination on the power cord because the connector mates to the cable, so you're not sitting up topside trying to mess with Allen wrenches or screws. Everything's assembled and tested on the ground, and it locks in place. There's no way to put it together wrong, and once it's tightened down, you're not going to have a connection issue. So I was very happy with that. The included lightning arresters, they were a little tight for weatherproofing. It would have been nice to see a short jumper to get them away to do the weatherproofing around the arrestor, but everything is really solid. Was real happy. The CPEs, great boxing. I like the use of the Allen bolts on that. All those features are great. We did have a slight problem with the Cat 5 weatherproofing the coupler. There's a few changes I'd like to see there, but all in all, the only other real issue that we need for the CPE is some kind of signal indicator at the CPE, so you're not having to relay information. But I'm sure that's something that you guys are working on.
So, Baicells core is in the cloud. Any problems with that?
Initially, I have been anti-cloud. I like controlling my own infrastructure. You guys do offer a hosted solution where we can do our own, but for the functionality you're going to have, no, I do not have a problem with it being on the cloud for the maintenance and portability of it. I'm happy with that.
Setup was easy.
Setup was real easy. We're going to go do a few today to swap people over and do some testing. Yesterday I did swap over a client that was on a small repeater. They were getting about 2 meg at their location prior. And when we were completed the install yesterday, it was about 41 meg unrestricted at their location.
Super.
Super.
Yeah, it works great for people that had a good connection, but then over a period of 3 or 4 years, things grow up and get bigger, and they get to where they're no longer in our coverage area, and this is a great solution for that.
Great. Well, let's go out and do some testing, and then we'll come back and do a little bit of a wrap up. Okay.
Sector in 5.8. There's about 30 meg on the sector right now of actual traffic. Unrestricted, this client's getting 9.1 by 1.5. They are on a 15 meg business package.
Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and save this. We're going to change out the equipment and repeat the same test. First signed up with our service, we were offering 2 meg here. Now they're on a 15 meg package. They only see 15 under ideal situations.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And you didn't have your antennas that high before, right? Were they
sector
behind the
5
trees?
gigs are on. We moved it up about 30 feet, but the 5 gig that they're connected is only about 30 feet below where this one actually is, the LTE is installed. So it's pretty close. I do like the way the connector goes together and holds the end in. We've seen issues with technicians with other gear. They don't hear it click, they don't hear it snap in all the way, and you get a service call a month later, the internet's down, you come out there and the cable's unplugged. Oh.
So the tower is just to the right of that big tree. Just to see the peak of it out there. Looks like you're aiming pretty good.
Rick lined it up, so it's probably good as it's going to be right off the bat.
Walking down, it was 22.
Yeah, I think we're right on it, Mike.
Okay, well, I'll get that and bring me check.
You say
Lock her down.
lock her down?
22 consistent.
CINR?
Yep. Shows strong, no fluctuations. Ping times are about 8 to 10 milliseconds higher than the previous gear because the LT I think injects upwards of
About 40?
So
Is that about where it was?
yeah, 4221 was pinging about 46 milliseconds consistent to us. Customers really happy.
Okay.
It just loaded at 9.1 meg, 20 meg channel.
This is the old system?
The old system. We ran several speed tests. The slowest speed test I got now was 31 meg. Oh, I'm very happy. I want to see this everywhere. I'll run a speed test.
This is 2.4?
This is a 2.4. Just like the other location, the LT is about 6 feet higher, 5 feet higher than the 2.4 sector. It's on a 10 meg channel like we always do. There's only 3 active channels on the tower for separation.
Half a meg.
What? Which is not really usable.
It's up to 1. Not really usable these days.
Okay. 37 meg.
I told you to be 20 plus.
I said 17. At first
You
it
win.
was 17.
You win, Bruce.
So look at that. We're getting 1.1 meg on the old gear. We're getting 37 on the new.
Win at least something the size of
About a 35 time increase in speed.
Really doesn't make a difference what it is. I have to get these wireless. Look at that.
99% done already.
Man.
You're going to have some happy kids play? Happy wife, happy kids, happy daddy. There it is.
Yep. So, and there's the corner of his house. So we're shooting through that tree, this tree line here, and that tree group. So 3 tree groups. And one in his yard. That's impressive. That's the first product I've seen that can give you that kind of speed, that condition.
With all the leaves on the trees.
Yeah. Now I don't want my installers knowing of its capabilities because then they'll set this as the standard. But this right now, I tell you, off this tower, we've got about 60 to 70 no-goes for installs. They're not on our dead pile, but they're on the not approved. Bruce, I would be surprised if we don't at least get 60% yeses on the previous no's.
We will load that sector up. How many can you
So
put
should I
on
put
that?
an order for 100 of them in for you?
I bet
You're going to see an order from us this week. I know that much. Bruce, we got to figure out. We got to look at how many we need, but we're going to need some more for these sites.
We're going to need to hire another crew.
Just think, we've got about 8 towers I've identified that would be good candidates like this. If we put a LTE sector on the north side of Woodburn to get up to Seattle Slough and everywhere, fed a repeater into the area, fed a repeater in there, and then rebroadcast DFS, we can nail the entire area.
We're going to own this.
That's right there.
Okay, we're back from doing installs. 2 installs I think we did today.
Yep.
And some testing. And what'd you guys think?
Well, we took you guys to an existing client that we have on a 5 gig spectrum on a 20 meg channel. They've been a customer for about 6 years. They're right at 5 miles from the tower. We've had issues during peak times of them not getting their full plan. They're on a 15 meg package with us. And due to everybody doing Netflix streaming and YouTube and everything, they've dropped down to 5 to 6 meg at night. It's been an issue we've been looking at for about 6 months. We were almost at the point of installing a dedicated point-to-point link for this customer. So we did a speed test at the site prior to switching out the equipment. Unrestricted, we were getting right at 10 meg to the customer location. We did have about 30 meg traffic on the access point at that point in time, but 10 meg was the average speed test. We dropped in the new CPE. Speed tests were immediately around 37 meg. I think the slowest test we saw was 22 meg. Customers extremely happy. It made it to the point where they're easily going to get what they're paying for, and that was a good test case scenario. We do have a little bit of a clearance issue on that site, but real good success. The second one we went and did was a install that should have not been done. It was done 2 years ago. It was right at about a mile from the tower. It was done with 2 gig, and it was shooting through, we counted 2 tree lines and 1 big tree in the people's yard. Signal to the tower on 2 gig was upper 80s. We did an unrestricted speed test of just over a meg. And they actually said it's been working pretty good. We actually stopped this customer's billing about 9 months ago. Told them we wanted to find a solution for them. Like I said, we normally wouldn't have installed it, but since it was installed, we had to try to find a solution. We swapped out the CPE. We all made some kind of bets on what we thought the speeds would be. One person said they should see about 10 meg. Myself, I was hopeful for about 17, and my partner over here said, well, we'll get about 20. When everything was lined up and tested, we actually tested.
Me being the one that was conservative at 10 meg.
Yeah, Rick was conservative at 10 meg. We actually ended up getting 37 meg at the customer's location with LTE. Their Netflix popped up, and they are a happy customer.
I could not believe how many trees you were shooting through. And
that showed that was pretty much the worst case scenario we have for customers. I mean, short of us digging about 1,000-foot trench out to a field to try to see the tower, we didn't have a solution for them, and they are going to be extremely happy.
Baicells, yeah. I'm excited. I tell you what, it's quite a difference. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting for us. I can see us adding a few more base stations here in the immediate future. In town, we're getting a lot of people asking for our service. Going into the 365 band with this LTE gear, I think will allow us to compete in the in-town market where we're already getting calls. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens later on this summer.
All right. Well, you guys keep us posted and send us in pictures and customer comments and that type of thing, and go ahead and place your next order whenever you want.
All right.
You'll be hearing
Sounds
a lot
good.
from us, I'm sure.
Thank you very much, guys.